I wanted to talk about the ranked voting system.
Right.
For those of you who don't know, I'm just going to read it right from
So pretty
Wikipedia.
much how college football does theirs, right?
Is that the BCS thing? Is that what that's
the fact that you said the words BCS to me?
Yeah, the BCS ranking
Is this
system.
reality?
I know what that is. Okay, so it's called preferential voting or rank voting. This is right off of Wikipedia, by the way. Describes certain voting systems in which voters rank outcomes in a hierarchy on the ordinal scale. When choosing between more than two options, preferential voting systems provide a number of advantages over first past the post voting, which is what we use now. It's basically the first one over the line takes everything. So, there's been a lot of talk on how every election, someone brings up the Electoral College and how horrible it is.
Every 4 years.
Every 4 years it happens.
Like clockwork.
Right. I'm not going to talk too much about the Electoral College, but there's a video I will post in the show notes that I saw that did some calculations, and it is possible to win the presidency with only, I think it was like 22 or 23% of the popular vote.
Wow.
And it's like, maybe it is pretty bad. But I've learned about this ranked voting system.
But has that ever happened?
No, it's never happened, and probably would never. And only a couple of times, including this election and back in 2000, has the popular vote not also won the presidency.
Are you sure?
Well, no, I mean this century.
Oh, okay.
You got to go back.
I was like, I think it's like 4 or 5.
No, yeah, you got to go back to the 1800s to get a couple more.
No one gives a shit about them.
No, no one does, and it was flawed back then.
And dead.
They're all dead.
Very dead.
No, you're absolutely right. I meant this century. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I meant to clarify it. But so I wanted to give a quick example of how one of these ranked voting systems works. So one of them is exactly like the BCS. You have, you put your first place candidate.
Wait, so basically the number one and number two candidate get together and they start fighting each other?
Okay.
Oh,
This is football humor, and no. So
just no?
No, basically.
Wait. Is it?
No. It wasn't noteworthy.
Okay.
No. It was a funny joke for college football fans. But so you have your list. Say there's 4 candidates, right? We'll just use the last election. Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton, Gary Johnson, Jill Stein.
Okay.
Is it Stein or Steen?
Stein.
Stein!
I don't think it's ever supposed to be Steen.
We're going to get the Bernstein.
We're not going to get into
Mandela
that.
effect stuff.
No.
Anyways. So say you would rank them 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Mm-hmm.
There's one, I think it's called the board account, is where you put a point value to each place. So like first place is worth 10 points. Second place is worth 5 points. Third place is worth 3 points. Last place is worth 1 point, something like that. And then you tally all the, everyone's votes up, and that whoever has the highest amount of points gets it. I don't really like that method. I like the transferable vote. I think that's the one. No, that's for multi-member constituencies. There's another one called instant runoff voting. I think that's it. So basically, we'll use those 4 candidates as the example here. So everyone votes. They put, in order of their preference, who they want to be president from 1 to 4.
Mm-hmm.
If no one has gotten over 50% of the votes after all the votes have been tallied, they take the person who has the least amount of votes. In this case, we'll say Jill Stein. Jill Stein. Everyone that voted for her in first place then gets their vote transferred to their second place candidate. So all their votes that they voted for, get put onto another person, whoever they voted for. If that person, or if someone else now has over 50% of the vote, they're president. If not, then you go to the next lowest ranked person, the person with the least amount of votes, and you transfer all their votes to their next candidate on the list. And it seems like a lot of work. It seems kind of complicated, but the good thing about it is that it allows people to vote for different parties without the fear of that not doing anything, the quote unquote wasted vote.
Yeah.
Right.
So because right now in the system we have, the first past the post system, it's mathematically proven that it will always be reduced to a 2-party system, which I don't think, I don't think life is black and white like that. You can't just
Right.
have these two. You're either blue or you're red. You know, I don't really believe in that.
Well, I mean, that's like I haven't met anybody who agrees with either of the people that were going for president, either of their policies 100%.
yeah, exactly.
Like, so I mean, it's
it was 50%. I think the poll was 50% for both Trump supporters and Hillary supporters were only voting so that the other person didn't become president.
right.
Now, if you took all those votes, that's a potential winner right there if you
Right.
put it into another candidate. But people are scared to do that. So what it does is it allows more parties to come in and there be more options. And that's what I like about the system.
Don't you think it could get kind of abused to where you could have your primary Republican and Democrat,
Right.
and then they make up these fake other guys who's also a Republican and Democrat, and so you could vote for 1, 2, 3, 4, and then hope your fourth guy gets knocked off, so he falls into your other.
Well, they would have to
Top
vote
pile.
for them, though.
Yeah, they'd still have to vote, but
they'd have
they
to
could
put them in the second place. Yeah, I mean, it's not, and I'm still trying to find out all of the. I've listened to the for argument, obviously. I still haven't found the against argument. That's what I'm trying to find. There's a bunch of against for the Electoral College. I already mentioned some of the stuff. There's some for the Electoral College.
Right.
Which one of the main thing that they always say, the people that are for the Electoral College is, oh, well, then candidates will only campaign in the big cities. Well, some guy, it's the same video that I'm going to post. He says, actually, the top 100 cities in America only count as 22 to 25% of
The vote.
the population.
Look at the election this year. That shows that.
Yeah. It was the whole entire Midwest was red. You know, that's what's going to win you all the small little towns and just everything that adds up. So that's one of those myths of the Electoral College that is dispelled in that video.
I will say the thing that I like about the Electoral College is that people are dumb. Like we are dumb.
Yeah,
like
that is the probably the number one thing.
Yeah, I
is
mean,
people are stupid. We're kind of got our shit together.
But
I mean,
even
you guys do,
us,
you know?
like it's the whole thing of like when you get to the end of the election is when you're exhausted. You're just like, I can't wait for this to be over because I no longer have to spend all this time investing into reading each side's arguments and reading which like fact checking them and then watching the ads and then doing this and doing like it's so much work and a large portion of our populace does not do that and I can't blame them because there's a lot of people who don't even watch the news anymore because they come home and they just want to turn that shit off.
That's what I want to say. I don't know if it's the election that makes people exhausted. It's the media,
Right.
and then now social media together
Sure.
that
Yeah.
exhausts people. I actually love reading up on policies and stuff like that on both sides. I find it really super interesting, and I mean, I didn't do too much of it to the point of it exhausting me, but I got fucking tired of people bitching and moaning, and then you turn on any news station, and people are yelling. Why are they yelling?
Yeah.
They're always yelling. You know what I mean? Like,
I hate
that's
that.
exhausting.
Well, I mean, and that goes for everything. Like, it doesn't even
Everything.
matter if it's politics or sports or anything. Like, anytime that they can pit either side against each other, they're like, this is going to get ratings
Yes.
It's entertaining. People want to, and people get passionate about it instantly.
instantly.
Speaking of the instant runoff voting, which the one I just described, Wikipedia says this about it. This method is thought to be resistant to manipulative voting, as the only strategies that work against it require voters to highly rank choices they actually want to see lose.
Right, and that was actually the one thing that I read was somebody called it strategic voting.
Yeah.
Right.
Was that if you really want somebody to lose, you put them as your top vote, like hoping that they get like the lowest amount of rankings, so that's a large percentage of people who voted for him for the first one, and that's all gone away.
Yeah.
But again, that sounds really risky.
Yeah, it does. That's what I was trying to say is like I feel like it'd be min-maxed almost.
Yeah.
Nice. Min-maxed.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'd like to see the numbers on it. There's a bunch of videos. This guy CPG, I don't know.
CBGBs?
It's something CPG
CBGBs.
Gray or something like that. I'll put it in the show notes. You guys just go to SRSLYcasual.com, find this episode 23, click on the show notes, and and you could find the videos.
No, I had one question.
Yeah,
Yes.
I don't know everything in politics by any stretch of the imagination.
sure.
what's the percentage chance of the electoral college ever being voted out into something new? Because like how would the small states ever go for anything else? How would Rhode Island ever get on board with anything other than the electoral college, which keeps everything fair in a way?
See, I don't know, because it would still be going off of quote unquote the popular vote. So
Right.
I don't know. The thing that's flawed about it is someone in, I think it was Wyoming, has 4 times the power of their vote than someone in California. So that's why you have so many. I think there's a lot of people, they kind of get the Brexit effect. Like in California, it's like, I don't even need to vote. We're going to vote blue. What's the point of me going out and voting?
No, I think that's, weird. I've only followed the last 2 elections, even with any remote of knowing what's going on. I would just think it's weird how Texas is always red, California is always blue.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. I'm like, well, why can't there ever be change? You know what I mean?
Right.
But I think that comes down to what Christian said. People are dumb. They're just going to vote.
Yeah, and I think if they're
lines.
going to do that, I don't think it should be a winner takes all for the Electoral College. I think you should split up if Florida votes half blue, half red, that 29?
Yeah.
They should just split that down the middle somehow.
Well,
Why are you
even
listening
someone-
to anybody in Florida anyway?
Well, like even somebody was trying to explain to me
I don't
how
know.
like the primaries worked was like you essentially like they would vote, like each county would vote, and
Right.
then somebody from that county would then go to like a meeting, and then they would cast their vote, and then they counted those votes. And you're just like, so it's still not like even then it still didn't work. Like it's still like we're giving you a vote. Just fucking count the vote. Just count it. Like if that's what you need to do, fine, do it.
Yeah, because then the people are supposed to vote.
Yeah, but they're supposed to, and
Yeah,
that
they're
and,
supposed
and that's
to,
what
and they only get fined. I just read this. They only get fined $1,000 if they go rogue.
Yep.
$1,000.
That's it.
So if you could convince enough people to vote against whoever won.
And all I'm saying is that this election they threw what? It was like $7.5 billion was
Yeah.
spent on the
Yeah.
election. That's a few $1,000s that could be tossed at a couple people. So I mean, again, the opportunity for corruption is prominent.
Yeah. The one con that I did think of as I was driving here, I was like, what's the con of this ranked voting system? The one that I thought of would be the system that has to be in place to count all the votes would most likely have to be some sort of computerized tally system. You could do it all on paper, which I think we need to go back to paper because all the computer stuff, there's just way too many chances for manipulative voting and hacking and whatever, because the companies that are making these voting machines actually donated to some of the candidates this year.
Right.
It's like, what the fuck? That is a huge conflict of interest, and you should not be allowed to do that. I don't know what a solution to that is. I really don't.
What's like the worst thing in the world?
Citizens United. Sorry.
There is just so many like whys to point to. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
exactly.
The people are uninformed. They just listen to headlines.
Yeah.
The media is a piece of shit.
Yep.
Stuff like that. Two-party system is terrible. Like
How does this country even work after all of that?
Let's just all agree. Money out of politics. Get money out of politics and just
Campaign
just
finance reform.
Let's see what happens. Like, let's see what happens when you get rid of a lot of the lobbyists. Let's see what happens when
I've always thought that I feel like it comes down to those people.
it is.
No, it is.
100%.
The lobbyists.
Those, like,
that
I
needs
mean-
to be banned from the United States.
What is that survey that was done? I can't think of the college, but some college looked at all of the things that were voted on from like 1973 until now, and like 95% of the time they vote in favor of whoever the lobbyists, like what lobbyists are throwing the most
Because
money
they
at.
throw on serious
That's
money.
serious
Yes.
money.
Where
Yeah.
they're like, this money will put someone's family's generations, like 10 generations will be funded.
Yeah.
Like, how
Yeah.
do you say no to that? You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
It's sickening.
So that's what I'm saying. So let's reverse Citizens United and get money out of politics.
Let's do
Wolfpack.
I like that.
Wolfpack.
It starts here, people, at this table.
Seriously though, Google search Wolfpack. WOOLFPAC Wolfpack.
Will I get
I don't know, watch
the
list.
Hangover to come up?
No, it's it was started by the Young Turks.
Okay.
Yeah, so essentially, it's they're going about it the same way that women's suffrage went about it. Is that if you can get enough states to pass an amendment, then essentially the government, if I remember this correctly, if enough states say this needs to be an amendment, then the United States government has to be like, well, yep, that's an amendment. And at first they were like, yeah, it's never going to work. And I forget how many states. I think we're like 7 or 8 states now said, yes, let's refund our. What would you say? Something about campaign finance.
Campaign finance reform.
Reform. That's the word. Yeah. So we need to reform campaign finance. So maybe we'll get there.
We should just do like a clean slate, like kick everybody out. But
I like that idea.
Like
term limits and shit. Yeah.
I think we need
no, just everybody kick them out the door. Be like, let's start over.
Yeah.
with term limits.
And with term limits.
And get rid of
30
these
days.
career politicians. 30 days.
We want results, damn it!
Literally nothing would get done. And, no, but
Isn't it getting done now?
I know.
No.
Well, yes, but not for the people. For corporate interests.
Themselves.
But anyways, that was
Sorry,
going
that
back
was-
to we went on a tangent, but that's fine. That was my only con that I could come up with was you need a computer system to figure it all out because it is kind of complex. Another con is, just describing it to some of my other friends, they were like, that's never going to fly with the American people because they're too dumb on average, like to understand. It's complicated to even, it's easy to know what it is. And it's honestly, it's a lot better with a visual representation. Like Christian sent this video and they used Post-it notes to show how, and it was really easy to get how it worked.
Right, but you're going to have to like reintroduce that to
everyone.
everybody.
Right.
Have like
When
these
half the
examples
people
and
don't
short
even know what the
stories.
electoral college is.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Or who their state governor is, or
Yeah.
state senator, or I don't even know who our state senator is.
Because you know what?
Bill Nelson?
This happens every election.
I don't
Because
know.
right now, everyone's into politics.
Yeah.
Everyone's talking about policies.
Yeah.
After Christmas,
Well, after Trump is inaugurated.
I think when Trump gets inaugurated, it'll all come up again.
Yeah.
And
then it'll die off in a
down.
couple
By
months.
next summer, people will be like, "What's a senator again?"
Trust me, I had
Who's
the
our
thing
president?
on my Facebook when I said, like, when I voted and I said, I'm with Patrick Murphy. And everyone's like, who the fuck's Patrick Murphy? I'm like, okay.
So I think I know this is about the ranked voting system, but it
Right.
kind of turned into like what
Sure.
Yeah. What can change?
What can change? But there's so many things that need to change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, where do you start? I think.
Campaign finance reform?
I honestly think. I think it's
That's a great thing. I think term limits in Congress. I think campaign finance. The problem is, and honestly, it's not the president. Everyone puts so much weight on the president. Sure, that has a little bit to do with it. It's really all those motherfuckers that take all the attention off of them that are sitting in Congress,
Yeah.
funneling all this money to themselves and just giving a big fuck you to the American
Have you
people.
seen House of
Right.
Cards?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
So that's why that's like there's a lot of people who are like freaking out about the most recent election. And they're like, Donald Trump can only do so much. He can only do so much. And granted, yes, he can only do so much. But all I'm saying, and granted, could possibly just be a coincidence. But if I read my history books correctly, the last time that the Republicans had the House, the Senate, everything was red, we ended up in the Great Depression. No, that's true. That is a coincidence. But I'm not pointing any fingers.
It sounds like you're pointing some fingers there, Christian.
I pointed some fingers.
You're pointing some fingers.
I like that accent. What is that? Pointing some fingers there.
Hell, pointing some fingers.
Well, it's like it's a Great Depression accent.
Wow, look at me go.
Hey, listen,
Impressive.
listen to that.
Impressive.
All right.
Okay, let's transition.
That's all I got.
I'll
I'm gonna put all those videos. If you guys are interested, which you should be, if you care about this country, then you need to go and check out.
Do you know what I think we should do?
Yeah.
Like the past 2 weeks, we've kind of had some political topics.
Yeah.
Or I don't think we should do it every week by any stretch of the
Right.
imagination, but let's keep it going.
Sure.
We
do it.
we communicate to certain people. Then for at least maybe 15 minutes of their day, then we're listening to our show. They're thinking about it. When politics aren't in vogue.
Right.
When we're in the by next Christmas, let's talk about what Trump's done in a year.
And people
what I
might be
mean?
more
Or a
open
little
to
less
it
than a year.
because they're not bombarded with it
Exactly.
24/7.
Right. Yeah.
Exactly. So
And hey, I'm all for that. Remember when we were talking about our goals for life, and one of my goals was to be big
Is to
enough.
run for office?
Yeah, no. Is to have
vote for you.
Thanks. You know what? 2020, the pizza party's coming to town.
the pizza party.
Yes.
Helping all Americans get a
brand
bigger
new
slice of the
day.
pie.
Oh my God.
It's a brand new day, 2020. I'll be over 35. I could technically run for president.
I'd vote for you.
The on the and kind of funny.
Yeah.
The guy who's running the politics on their show, Colin.
Yeah.
They have a shirt that says "Colin for President 2020."
Right.
Because he's like super into politics. He could do it. I'd vote for him too.
Go for it. We really at this point.
Can we? Like,
Is your refrigerator running? Because I might vote for it.
What's the youngest age you can run for? 35.
35.
35. Yeah.
Can we get a 35-year-old president? Can we just make it happen?
Well, what's his name? Kennedy was pretty close. He's only 40 something, I think.
no. I want 35.
35. Hey,
Well,
You know what I mean?
yeah, we saw what happened
Make it
last
happen,
time.
yeah.
I could do 36.
That's bad.
I got 36. I got 36 for
Let's
you.
do it.
Let's do it.
The pizza party.
Pizza party. I'm starting it. I'm doing
Cool.
it.
Do it up.